In this video, I'll show you a very cool and very underutilized and actually a very good tool by Facebook. It's called the Facebook Attribution tool. So let's take a look at what it is and where you can find it first, and then we'll talk about it. So first you need to go to your business tools and go to Attribution. But as you will see, if we go back to our own account, you will see what happens, right? We will see absolutely no performance. And in order for us to see any performance, we need to set it up, right? And there's no data sources. And we need to go to the data sources and give it a line of business. And this line of business, you should just create as I showed you over there. And in this line of business, you can add specific assets. So in this case, that would be our custom conversions, our apps, our offline sets, and our pixels. We can even add both just to see if we can pull out some data. And you should do this in advance. You should do this as soon as possible, because as you will see, once you open up the attribution tool and actually give it some sources, it's going to start importing conversions. Right now, mine is not going to do that, but let's see if I can show you maybe somewhere where I don't have it set up. That's a bit difficult actually, because we have it set up everywhere. And you can see how this kind of thing works, right? So before we jump into it, there's actually a landing page that Facebook has on facebook.com/business measurement attribution, or you could search in Google for Facebook attribution tool, and you will end up on this landing page. Here they have some explanations about what the tool does, but that's not the most interesting part. If you go here, you will see their little course in Facebook Blueprint for the attribution tool. It's a 15-minute course, and it's really good. And actually, one cool part of it is that you can learn a lot about the different attribution models here. They have presented them quite well. And here in the attribution models video, you will learn like how this whole thing works. Now here's, in this image, the problem is very well explained. So someone sees one of your Facebook ads, they come to your website on their desktop device, for example, but then they leave. But then they come to the through their mobile phone, through their tablet, or through their laptop, and then they make a purchase. Now, in the standard model, all of these three are not tracked at all. And what you would see is just the Facebook ad and the desktop session, but these three are not going to be tracked. And so what the Facebook attribution tool allows you to do is to distribute the attribution between the different devices, interactions, and campaigns that you have set up for yourself. Now, there's a very good reason why this tool is actually really good. Facebook already has a lot of coverage in terms of Facebook pixels across the web. What this means is that if you have a Facebook account and you log in through your desktop, your laptop, your phone, and your tablet from different devices, even if you log on to different sites, and even if you don't go to Facebook, their Facebook pixel is going to detect you. And if you have a Facebook account, they're going to be able to link all of these sessions and know that it's you. I know that sounds a little bit scary, but of course that data is anonymized, so there's nothing to worry about. The key here is that when you're advertising, your users are very likely to use lots of different devices. And so when Google Analytics, for example, is tracking their attribution, they are tracking sessions. And a session can only be done on one device. You can have the same session across two different devices. And unless Google can recognize that it's the same person doing these sessions, it doesn't really work. So the Facebook attribution tool is a lot better than pretty much all the rest, and it's super free, which makes it very good. So let's take a quick look at how you can actually use it. You can actually go through the course. It's really 15 minutes. It won't take you that much time. Now, if we take a look at this thing over here, you can see that we are looking at our attribution. First of all, you can select excuse me, the conversion that you want to use. So in this case, maybe I can focus on just the course purchases, or I can focus on something else. In this case, I have 7 conversions. 3 of them were recognized by Facebook. So 3 of them are done by Facebook users. So Facebook recognized them, and the rest are not. But over time, most of that data will be actually very credible. And what you can do is you can see like what were the sources that brought you the actual sales and what channels they came from. Now, you can also do that with like the website purchases. As you can see, we have like 51 website purchases here, and you can see which channel they came from. Now, of course, you can do that through Google Analytics, and it's always a good idea to measure both. But there's something else here that is really useful. First of all, you should decide how do you attribute credit to the different sources. So there's quite a few attribution models. So the current window for the attribution model that I've selected is over here, 90-day click and 90-day impression. Now that might be a little bit overboard. So if I go to 1 click and 1 day impression, I will get completely different data. If I go to my actual model that I'm using in my ads, which is 7-day click and 1 day impression, I will see different results. It all depends on how do you want to attribute the credit to your different campaigns. And the main idea here begins with this attribution model. So first of all, we have last touch. Last touch is what Google Analytics is using. So the last source where the conversion came from is counted as the conversion source. Now there's also the first touch, which a lot of people like because it kind of allows you to measure which was the first campaign that started the customer journey for this specific customer. What was the first touch point? And then that kind of makes you blind to all the rest that came after that, which could also be incredibly important, like your remarketing campaigns or anything like that. So that's why there is positional. So positional means that you attribute different credit to different positions. Obviously, there's also time decay. Time decay kind of decays over time, so it gives the first campaign a lot of credit, and over time kind of gives less and less. And you have many others. You can also learn about all of these in the course. I won't explain them intentionally, just so you check it out. It's 15 minutes, it's worth it. And this will also take you a step further because we'll be talking about these Facebook Blueprint courses in a bit. Some of them are good, some of them are very bad, actually. So in this case, I also like to look at different models and try and compare them. So even credit kind of gives all of the campaigns that contributed to a given sale some credit. So it gives them equal credit, which is very nice because you can actually see what are all the campaigns that led to that sale, even if they were just seen or clicked on. And sometimes you need to understand that people don't really need to click on your ad to get convinced. Like maybe they've seen an ad before, and this new ad that you show them in your marketing just convinced them. They know your website, they just open it up and buy. Or maybe they buy on a different device. Now, there's also the credit rules over here where you can credit all visits or don't credit direct visits. this kind of means that direct visits are not going to be credited evenly. Like if someone just visits your website and comes in, directly types the URL and clicks enter, then they will possibly be your customer. They already know about you, so you won't credit them with anything. And you can also not credit any visits, which is kind of, it will only credit clicks and impressions. If there are no clicks or impressions before a conversion, then the conversion will be attributed to direct. Now, this is a good model to use because sometimes it can show you a bit of a clearer picture than the credit all visits. And so in this case, I will use the credit all visits and the even credit, and that these are my settings, and you can click apply over here. Now, this thing has a cool feature that you have access to custom reports, which also allow you to set up your columns. There's not much that you can actually see over here. And again, I have chosen just one day so that we don't expose important data, but you can pretty much set this up, and it's pretty cool. It also has a graph, and you can see your campaigns or sources. In this case, as you can see, I can see that breakdown by campaigns and see where that revenue actually came from, which is also very cool. And you will not see many things here because this is just one day, and I specifically just activated this one to show you how it works. And you do need to wait a few days. It's about a day to get all of your conversion data imported, and if your accounts have been running for a long time and you have a lot of pixel data, it might take longer, but generally about a day is fine. So the conversion paths are very, very cool, and let's talk about why. It's because Facebook has a much better way of figuring out who are the same people between devices. So they have one Facebook account and two devices, and Facebook knows that they use both of these devices. And so this makes their attribution better than most, and this kind of allows you to see a clearer picture of the conversion paths. So what the conversion paths are is, for example, someone saw a Facebook ad, came to your website, and then they left and started researching, and then they saw a remarketing ad on the Google Display Network and came to your website, maybe signed up for your newsletter, and then your newsletter campaign a week later converted them, and then you will see that as a conversion path. So that will display a conversion path where you have like your Facebook campaign, then your Google display campaign, and then your email campaign, and that would say, right, that is one conversion path, and that conversion path itself led to this many conversions. This is what you will pretty much see here in this window. I'm sorry that I can't show you one with data, but it's not a big deal. And over time, if you choose a bigger period of time, you will be able to see how the best performing sets of channels work together. So that's kind of like figuring out what is the best conversion path. And generally that would probably be something like your awareness ads plus your remarketing ads, but sometimes it can surprise you, and that's what makes the Facebook attribution tool very cool. It's much better than the analytics attribution. Google Analytics also has, you know, some attribution features, but they are really not good, and there's just not much we can do about it, and not much that Google can actually do about it. So it's not really something that's going to change. And this tool has actually been around since 2017, and it has been improving over time, and the more people install Facebook pixels on their website, the better it gets. The more people use Facebook, the better it gets. So it kind of provides very accurate information on attribution. And for some of those, for some of you who are more advanced marketers and have multiple campaigns and want to figure out what's the best combination that brings the most juice, or also even just sometimes if you're just starting out, it could be just the few campaigns that you have, how do they distribute around that revenue. Now, there is some work that you need to do. First of all, you need to set up your line of business, of course, and then you need to go to the settings over here and go to data sources. You will see your events from your Facebook pixel. The Facebook pixel you can add directly from Business Manager, but there is a bit more that you can do, and you can add additional ad platforms. The easiest ones to add are Google Ads and Bing, but you can also see some more. As you can see, like you have Criteo and AdRoll should be somewhere here. They don't have AdRoll actually, that's funny. But you know, some other popular platforms for omnichannel marketing like Sysmac are here, AppNexus. I know these are quite advanced, but you should know about these things because some people and some companies use them, and so they will be very cool to add over here. So what happens when you actually add a platform? I can't show you an example of that, but when you add that platform, then Facebook is going to take the session IDs or the sessions from this platform, and it's going to add the information from that platform to the data that it has, which makes it the freaking best tool about attribution, at least the one that you can get for free. There are some better enterprise tools, but they are incredibly expensive. And again, we'll be talking a lot about the attribution problems in the analytics and conversion rate optimization course, but just if you can add the platforms that you have available over here, that's going to be very, very good for you, and you will get a lot more information about that. Here you can also check for different diagnostics. You can check your referring domains. I will not let this load because I don't want to reveal that data. And in this tool, you can very quickly see which are your top sources that brought you the most conversions and visits. You can take a look at different conversions. Like, for example, I can choose the add to cart, and well, that didn't work. We need the website, that's the cart. I have a custom add to cart event for this website, and you can see like which are the websites that brought you the most traffic. And for example, we can see like Google Organic didn't bring me that much add to carts. It brought me a lot of traffic, but for the same traffic, I got 62 conversions on Facebook and just 5 on Google. Now, why is that? That's because Facebook is going to be biased, because they're always going to count everything for themselves first. Now, that's the way the tool is set up, but you can add the other platforms and then clarify the picture, because right now all they want to see here is that Facebook received the most credit for conversions and drove the most visits. It's actually hard to change that, even if you set up your website and don't advertise on Facebook. It's kind of hard to beat that, because most of these Facebook users are going to come in as Facebook organic or Facebook paid. If you have any campaigns, the Facebook paid, like the Google paid campaigns, are going to be tracked quite well because they have their own UTM tracking and Facebook can recognize them. But you need to add your platforms. Once you do add your platforms, this tool becomes actually not so Facebook biased, and it becomes one of the best attribution tools that you can get for free. And if you still don't see the value in that, I promise you later on in life as a marketer, when you have to prove which campaigns are the most successful, even though it doesn't really look like that. Like, for example, if you want to prove to some stakeholders or to your boss or to your client that they shouldn't stop the awareness campaigns just because they have a too high CPA. As we know, you are always going to have high CPA on your awareness campaigns and a much lower CPA or cost per purchase or conversion on your remarketing campaign. That's clear to us marketers, but it's not clear to stakeholders, people on board meetings, bosses, clients, and lots of other people. And so when you get into this problem, you will be able to use the attribution tools to actually prove that all the campaigns in your digital marketing portfolio or in your strategy are actually complementing each other. And if they're not, you'll be able to see your mistake and say, all right, boss, client, whoever, you were right. Let's stop this campaign. But don't stop campaigns that are part of the bigger picture before you look at the attribution tool. And that's everything about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video.